Hello and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we've got a Sudoku with 20 given digits, which is a rarity indeed, and this is the work of the great man Art van de Wetering from the Netherlands. The man whose Sudokus I think must have been seen more than just about any other. And yeah, this has got a really interesting rule set. It's about dominoes, believe it or not. And yeah, well, anyway, I will read you the rules of this in just a moment or two. I have loads of things to talk to you about. Let me start. I'll try and rattle through them. I'm streaming tonight, 10 o'clock UK time. Love to have your company. Having a go at the game called Overhaul. Let me show you. This is the sort of the graphic, and it's sort of Sudoku while you get attacked by plants. It sounds absolutely crazy, but love to have your company if you're around. Next, our Kickstarter has been going great guns, and we have more stretch goals released today. So if you want to check those out, do have a look. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen, and any support you can give us would be very much appreciated. Oh yes, Mark asked me to... Mark, the room is smelling a bit piney today. I don't know why. We've got people making some furniture. Anyway, Mark asked me to mention that his Wordle in a Minute videos. So if you're into Wordle, Mark does it on hard mode in under a minute on most days. And it's a video, it's available on Instagram, it's available on the channel as well. Check it out. Next, it's the start of the month, isn't it? And that means that we've got all sorts of things to tell you about over on Patreon. Let me talk you through them. Firstly, I want to announce the winner of last month's monthly reward. This was the Sudoku Skunkworks 14 puzzles, the duality hunt. The winner we drew out of a hat this morning, Spencer Capera. Very well done. And what we're going to be sending you, Spencer, is a key for the game, Overhaul game, that I just showed you. So just use it, play the game, have fun. That's the idea. I've also got names to read out. I think I've got 2 more days of names, today and tomorrow, to read out all of the brilliant solvers who managed to solve all of the puzzles in that hunt. I'll do that in just a sec, but just to mention that now the Shy and Jovial, another language competition, is closed. I'm waiting to hear from Shy and Jovial who they have selected as the winner. I know who I would select, actually. I thought that was one entry that we got. I can't obviously reveal whose entry that was, but there was one entry I really found completely and utterly captivating. So I hope that person wins, but I don't know yet whether they have done. Next, of course, at 4 o'clock this afternoon, many of you will know this already, we released the Hercules, the Labours of Hercules Sudoku Hunt. This is 12 puzzles this time, by Panthera, by Peter Venus, and by Aspartagus. And this is really something lovely. I've got to tell you that. It's not just the puzzles that are lovely, and they are. And some of them are quite tricky. But the fact that there's individual art for each of the puzzles, and Peter's also done a story as well. It's really just such a quality piece of work. So if you have any puzzling time, I definitely recommend you check that out. Well, not finally, I've got more things to talk about. The Gas app. So many of you will be familiar with the gas puzzles. Mark does a video on the gas puzzles about approximately twice a week. These are puzzles that appear over on the Discord server, which are intended to be genuinely approachable. So they are introductions to the variant Sudoku that we try and solve on the puzzles every day. So we get loads and loads of emails from people saying, how do I watch your videos and it seems like magic. How do I get better at these puzzles before I tackle the puzzles you're doing in the videos? Well, the best thing I can recommend is that you try the gas puzzles. There's one a day over on the Discord by Clover, Sam Cappleman-Lynes, and Philip Newman, and sometimes guests as well. I think Tiganis has been doing some. But there is now a way to play them on your phone as well, because we have just released a gas app. It's an expansion pack to our Cracking the Cryptic app. So just download the Cracking the Cryptic app, which I know many of you will have done already. And then now there is a new downloadable gas app for you, and I commend it to you. It's got puzzles by Philip, by Sam, and by Clover in it, and it's a lot of fun. You can get your party hats, you can get your dinosaurs over there, and yeah, let us know what you think of the app when you get a moment or two. And then finally, I've got some birthdays and an anniversaries, actually 2 anniversaries. So it's the 24th anniversary today of Mr. and Mrs. Blobs. Congratulations. Blobs, of course, is a constructor who's featured on the channel a few times. And then Michael and Karin, it's your 19th anniversary today over there in Austria. I hope you have a brilliant day. And then a couple of birthdays. AJ's dad, it's your birthday. That's all I know. We got an email from AJ saying it was his dad's birthday. So happy birthday, AJ's dad. And then Hannah, you've turned 20 today, and I'm sorry we're not doing your puzzle. I hope you understand that Ard van der Wetering's puzzles are something very, very special, and it's hard to displace those from the slot. But I do hope that you enjoy the chocolate cake I know that you are intending to have. And then just the names of those who won who completed the duality hunt. So Darko Illich, Ellen Wooten, Ben Needham, Patrick Rogers, David Wilkins, Ryan Murphy, John Fairbanks, Tim and Ben, Harib Alsak, Jake Cloyd, Kiraz Baisal, Kavita Jagannathan, Aaron Hagman, Laura Wood, Justin Kidman. I'm glad your daughter liked Stairway to Heaven, Justin. Eris Ann, Ned Bartlett, and Christine Menard. All of you were correct, and I've got one more day's worth of reading out to do. A long introduction today, I hope you'll forgive me. But Ard's puzzles tend to be, I wouldn't say easy, they're not easy, but they don't tend to be the most monstrous things we've ever solved. So hopefully we'll be able to find our way through this one without the video sort of clocking up the minutes. We shall see. Here are the rules of 4 does. They are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply, i.e. place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, column and 3x3 box. I think most of you will be familiar with the normal Sudoku rules by now. Each 3x3 box contains 4 non-overlapping dominoes with the same sum. Sums may be different for different 3x3 boxes. Right, so that means that in this box here, we have to identify 4 different dominoes that all add up to the same number. And there's much maths that we can do around that. And then, well, so that's going to take up 8 cells, isn't it? So imagine it was that one, that one, that one, and that one. Then that cell would be left over because there are 8 cells in 4 dominoes, and that will have to be the spare digit. Do have a go. Ard's puzzles are always brilliant. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. And I'm going to start off with the obvious maths, actually. I say obvious maths, but to do the obvious maths, you have to know a secret. Now, I implore you, I'm going to tell you the secret. Don't worry, if you're watching this video still, you're definitely in the group of my favourite people in the world. But don't tell the secret to everybody, because people who don't know it won't be able to do the puzzle, and you'll be ahead of them. So what is the secret? Well, the secret is that any complete box of a Sudoku, because it contains the digits 1 to 9, sums up to 45. That's what you get if you add 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. Now, that tells us some interesting things in terms of the algebra of these boxes, because we're told in the instructions that each of these 3x3 boxes has 4 dominoes in it that add up to the same number. So we could express that as 4x, couldn't we? So how high can x be? Well, immediately we can see that x cannot be 12, for example. So one of the thoughts might be, okay, we could make a 3-9 domino here. Well, no, we can't, because by the time we've got 4 dominoes that sum to 12, that will sum to 48 and require the other cell to be a -3, and that won't work. Now, let's try 11 instead. 11 does work, I think, because 4 11s are 44. We know the whole box adds up to 45, so we would have a spare 1, which would not be in a domino. 10 works, doesn't it? Because 4 times 10 is 40. That would leave a 5 as the spare digit. 4 times 9 is 36. That would leave a 9 as the spare digit. So that works, but we won't be able to go below that because you can't put a digit bigger than a 9 in a Sudoku box. So 4 times 8 would be 32 and require the extra cell to be a 13, and that's just silly. So we know that each box straight away has 4 dominoes in it that either add up to 9, to 10, or to 11. So where should we start here? This is weird, actually getting all these digits to start. Should we start with box 1 and work our way round? Yeah, well, yes, okay. I can see something about box 1, and that's to do with the availability of 11. Actually, hang on. No, well, I'm going to continue with that line of thought, but I had a different thought that might help us, but I'm not sure it does. 9 here cannot go in those 2 cells. So the sum for this box, the sum of the dominoes, can't be 11, because if it was 11, I'd have to put a 9 in one of those 2 squares to accompany the 2 in a domino. So this box is either 10 or 9. Now, can we rule out anything else? If it's 9, the 5 would have to go with a 4 in exactly that position, because this 4 is ruling out this position. The 1 would have to go with an 8. The 2 would have to go with a 7. So we'd have a 5, 4 there, a 2, 7 there. I don't know, actually. I don't know how to resolve that. So maybe all we do is we highlight this box with some colour. So we'll have, what colour should we use? Blue. Blue will be, there is a possibility that the dominoes in the box add up to 9. And we'll use a different colour, maybe orange. I think that's very colourblind friendly. So orange will mean that the dominoes in the box add up to 10, and we know one of those things is true in this box. So let's try, I'm going to try this, but I'm not going to try the boxes that don't have as many digits in it, because I think that's going to be harder. Let's try this box instead. So what can we say about this box? Can we do, well, okay. That's, okay, I could have got this straight away, but the 2, well, everything I just did with the 9 and saying I can't have a 9-2 domino over there works exactly the same way over there, doesn't it? I can't have a 2-9 domino in either of those cells. So this box is also a 10 or a 9 box. Now, if this is a 10 box, well, it almost looks like it wants to be a 10 domino box, doesn't it? Because the 7 and the 3 are naturally joined. If it wasn't a 10 box, the 7 would have to join to 2, and that would have to go. That doesn't work. Right. That is weird. Yeah, okay, this doesn't work. Because if this is a box of dominoes that adds up to 9, then we know that the 9 is the spare digit. So this cell, it lives on its own, and we have to populate the rest of the box with dominoes. So you'd have to have. Oh, that's actually really interesting. That's very peculiar. Right. I'm going to totally change my mind now. I was about to explain why 9 didn't work generally. It's because this cell would live on its own, and then this cell here has to be part of a domino, which connects it to the 7, and would require us to put a 2 here, which cannot be correct. But actually, I could literally instantly have ruled out this pattern without even reference to any other box. Let me show you why. This is really cool. the moment we consider whether 9 could live on its own in this box, we could say no, it's impossible. And that's because of the domino tiling that would result. So let me show you. I'm just going to get rid of the colours here. Oh, hang on. Well, no, maybe I'll do it with the line tool. It's because the moment you put the 9 here and you say, OK, it's on its own, so I have to tile the rest of the box, that would be a domino, that would be a domino, and that would be a domino. And that's impossible because what I'm left with in these two cells is not a domino. So I haven't filled the box with 4 dominoes. Isn't that beautiful? So okay, so what I'm now thinking we have to do... Yes, okay, this is really cool because I can literally go around the grid now, and wherever there is a 9, a 1, or a 5, no, okay, I don't think I've got any 5s, but this 9 and this 1 I can do it with, because again, if this was the leftover cell in box 6 and we tried to isolate it, we'd have exactly the same tiling of domino problems that we just identified in this box. So that doesn't work. So that means that this box is not able to be... what's the leftover digit with a 1? It's 11, isn't it? So this is not an 11 box. Well, which is the same, right? So this has the same colouring as that box there. Now with a leftover 9, we're looking at 36, aren't we? So we're looking at dominoes that sum to 9. So that one can be the 10 colour, which is orange, and some other colour that we've got to hypothesize for, or hypothecate for the 11 possibility. So let's use yellow maybe. So that's yellow or orange. And let's just check the other boxes. I've got a 9 here. So that one, again, that's the same as that one. So that's got to be orange or yellow, which means 11 or 10. But anyway, I've got very distracted here. Let's come back to this one and just work out whether we can do better than eliminating 11 as a domino. Well, this one looks like it's going to be 10. How do I eliminate dominoes that sum to 9? No, dominoes that sum to 11. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up, aren't I? Hang on, I've got very mixed up. Have I got these colours wrong now? Because why has this got the same colour as this, but we've got the 1 here? Oh no, I know why. It's because I'd done better for this box than just eliminating it down to 9, hadn't I? Because I've got the 2 here taking out the 11 possibility, and the 9 takes out the 9 possibility. So this is a 10 dominoed box. This can't be an 11 dominoed box, so that is the same as that one, which couldn't be an 11 dominoed box. This one can't. No, it's okay, so the colouring is correct now. It's just that this one was better than I'd expected. So this one is a 10 box, which means I've got to put a 1 next to a 9. So there's got to be a 1 in one of these cells, which means there's a 1 in one of those cells. The 7 and the 3 do connect with each other, so that's a domino. Oh, good grief. That's really weird. Is that literally all we get from that? Hang on. So I've approximately identified the 1 and the 9. I've very much identified the 7 and the 3. I've got to put a 4 and a 6 in, and that doesn't look very easy. And I've got to put a 2 and an 8 in. That also, well, I suppose I can see that the 2 is in one of 2 places. So either this is a 2 with an 8 here, or this is a 2 with an 8 in either of those positions. Oh, Okay, but yeah, but we can tile it, can't we? So we can tile it like this. Oh, actually, can I? No, I can't, because I haven't identified where the spare digit is yet. So until I know where the 5 is, I can't say that's a domino. Oh, hang on, right, this is more confusing than I was expecting. Right, okay, so ignore that. That's I don't know if I can do any better with this. Let's instead try maybe this one. Right. Now what does my colouring mean? Because I can see that this is not an 11 box, because the 9 and the 2 can't connect. I think yellow was my 11 colour. Yes, because the 9, yeah, this is great. The 9 in this position rules out the possibility of 9 by tiling, the summing to 9. The 11 is ruled out by the fact 9 and 2 are not together in the box. So this is another 10 dominoed affair. Right, this is better. Right, the 9 must go with a 1. So that means that's not a 1. This is now 1. And now this is great. This is better for this one, because now what's this cell going to be dominoed with? Nothing. So it's got to be the spare digit, which is a 5. So we've got that domino and that domino to find. And we know that there is going to be a 2, 8 and a 4, 6 up here. And that's not a 6, so that's not a 4. And that's not a 2, so that's not an 8. Oh, and that's not a 2, so that's not an 8. So this one still could be 4, 6 or 2, 8, I think. 5 lives in one of those cells by Sudoku. And can we do, well, okay, we can definitely do something more in this box, because the 5 we know the position of. Actually, I'm going to just ring the spare digit. So now we know the 2 must go with an 8, which, that's nearly done, which means there's an 8 in one of those cells. Oh, I see. So we're going to have some sort of, some clockwise or anti-clockwise dominoage just rotating around the 5. Now, how do we do better then? We could, maybe I look at this column. I need 4s, 6s and 8s into these cells. 4, 6, 8. Right, yes, that cannot be 8, because 8 would need to go with 2. Let's try this row as well. Look, 1, 2 and 3 to place. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This has got to be 3, because it can't be 1, because we know the 1 is hypothecated to join the 9. That's lovely. That's really, really cool. So now there must be a 7 vertically in one of these cells, which we could have got by Sudoku, I've just realised, but we did it in a different way, as is often my want. I mean, we don't want to sort of debase ourselves by doing Sudoku too early in our Sudoku puzzles, do we? Okay, so imagine that was 1, 9, then that would be 2, 8, that would be 3, 7, that would be 4, 6. There is a 6 definitely down here, look, by Sudoku. But what would be the other possibility? This was 1, 9, so that would be 2, 8, that would be 3, 7, and that would be 4, 6. So there's always a 4 on the bottom rank, as well as a 6. And that means 4 is in one of those positions. Okay. Right. So what does all this mean? That is the next question. Well, I think probably we look at this box now and think about what it can be. Now, it seems to have, well, okay, it's got a domino in it that adds up to 11. It's got a domino in it that adds up to 10. Right, and it's not a 5 dominoed box. sorry, a 5, a 9 summed box, because look, this 5 rules a 5 out from that cell. So you couldn't pair the 4 up with the 5 in order to make it a sum to 9 box. So this is another orange-yellow box. It's either adding up to 11 or it's adding up to 10. Now, if it's adding up to 10, how are we going to do that? 6, 4. We've got to put the 5 somewhere in it, which I think could be in a variety of places. There would have to be a 3 in one of those positions. Okay, I don't see how to rule that out. What if that's an 11 box? You'd have to have a 5 in one of those positions to attach to the 6. There'd have to be a 3 and an 8 down here. You'd have to have a 1 somewhere on its own for it to be an 11 box. So, oh, that would be quite cool. If that was an 11 box then, we could instantly say this couldn't be a 1, because we'd get the tiling problem if that was a 1. So that would have to be a 2, which would have to attach to 9, which would make this a 9, which would make this a 9. Bobbins. I can't see why this fails. Okay, let's, instead of that, what should we do instead of that? We could look at, maybe fill in the gaps in these two cells. They have got to be 4, 8s and 9s. Can we get rid of anything there? Apparently not. What about these cells? 1, 3 and 8. I can see I can get rid of the 1 from that cell. What's this one? This is either 9 or 10, isn't it? So how do we tell what this is? 6 is in one of those cells. So if this is 9, I've got to partner 6 with... Well, that couldn't be... Oh, right, that just fails. This one's, I think this one's quite easy to disprove. If this is a box where it's dominoes sum to 9, we need to put the 6 in one of these two cells, which means the 6 needs to attach to a 3. That doesn't seem to be able to be a 3. There's just no 3 available. So this is another orange box. This is another 10 box. And that means I've got a 6-8 pair here, look, because I've got to attach the 2 to an 8. And I've got, by Sudoku, I've got the 6 down here as well. So this is a 6-8 pair. That's a 3. That's not 3. That's not 3. 3 is in one of these cells by Sudoku. I've got to attach the 3 to a 7. Oh, look, I can do it. By Sudoku, it's got to go here. So that's a domino. The 1 has to attach to a 9. So that's got to be there. So, I see. So look, let's do this slowly. That's the spare digit. That's a domino. That's a domino. That's a domino. That's a domino. And that's going to tell us that that's an 8. That's a 6. That's a 4. And I've got an 8 here, which must go next to a 2. This is a 4-6 pair. Let's just see if we can do that. 4, 6. Oh, I've got a 4-6 pair in this column now, so I know that digit is now an 8. Which now, what does the blue colour mean? I've lost track. That means this could be a 9 box, and that would work with a 1-8 there. Look. Oh, I've got 1-8 here, 1-8 here, so this is a 1-8 pair. That must be doing something. What's that doing? What's this box? It's a 10 box, isn't it? So the 8 needs to be next to the 2. And the only way that can be the case is if it's there. So that's 8, that's 1. And we can now see our dominoes forming in box 9. This is just a beautiful puzzle, isn't it? And the thing I love about it is it's just completely different to anything we normally do. It's very strange having to make these dominoes. Ah, that's a 1. So as we get some more Sudoku done, that's got to be 8, that's got to be 1. Let's remove the 8s from these cells. This digit's known. That's a 9 by Sudoku, just to fill this row in. These digits are known. They're 1, 5, and 8. These digits are known. They are 3, 4, and 7, I want to say. That's not 8 by the power of 8ness. 6 is in one of those cells in the middle box by the power of Sudoku. 7 is in the middle box. Whoopsie, that was a complete shank. 7 is in one of those cells by Sudoku. And I feel like I'm going to check this box again now, because I've filled in so much of this box that surely I can limit what this has got to be. But there might also be opportunities to do this box now, I think, because we know quite a lot about the various possibilities. Is there anything I can easily rule out? Well, it looks like it could be an 11 box. If that's 11, we'd have to pair up the 6 with a 5. So we do that, and that doesn't work. Okay, no, it's not an 11 box, because if that's 2, 9, which it would have to be, you've got to pair the 6 up with 5, so it would have to go like that. And this domino doesn't add up to 11 no matter how hard we stare at it, which makes me think I have got the wrong glasses on today. Oh well, so this is either an orange box or a blue box. Now, if it's a 9 sum cage, the 9 is going to be the isolated digit, and the 6 would have to join to a 3. And those two digits don't add up to 9, so that doesn't work either. So this, have we actually found any boxes? No, we haven't. Right, this is really weird now, because this is also a 10 box. Oh, is there some reason that I've not understood that this... I've got a horrible, horrible sneaking suspicion that for some reason I don't understand, I don't even pretend to understand it, that all the boxes have to be 10 boxes. Oh dear, dear, dear. If that's true and I've just not understood something really simple, that's going to be awful. Right, okay, but as this is a 10 box, the 6 goes with 4. That I can see. The 9 must go with 1, so it has to go up. That puts 5 in the corner, so that's got to be an 8, and this has got to be a 3-7 pair. So everything gets sort of sorted out fairly. Whoops, that 5 is not on it. So we get that pattern of dominoes. And well, I can eliminate a 4 from that cell. I can use the 1 here. That's got to be a 2, so that's got to be a 1. This box is, I think, the one we're going to have to look at. Let me just see if I can see anything simple first. Okay, I'm not seeing anything simple. So the options for this box are 10, which would require a 9 in one of those positions. 6, 4. 8 would have to have a 2 in one of these positions, which might be possible. 7 would have to have a 3 in one of these. Everything sort of might work there. Alright, let's try and rule out 11 then. So 7, 4. The 1 would... Oh, this is exactly what I was hoping to get to. Oh, this is beautiful. This doesn't work. This is exactly this tiling problem pattern that I've seen before. If this is an 11 box, which it has to be if it's not a 10 box, I can't remember why we ruled out 9, but we did. Well, I can see why actually the 1 and the 8 can't be together now, so that's another reason. But then we get the tiling problem. That's forced tiling, these are spare. So we actually, well, maybe unsurprisingly, given my concern that actually all of these boxes are going to be 10 boxes, this box is also a 10 box. And we've got the 6 and the 4, so we can put that in. We can probably do some pencil marking. There's got to be a 2 in one of these cells, which is very annoying, because that doesn't seem to resolve itself. There's got to be a 9 in one of these cells, which also doesn't do anything. There's got to be a 3 in one of these cells, which puts a 3 in one of those cells. And the 5 is apparently free to do whatever it likes in the box, somewhat peculiarly. Don't understand that, but it seems to be true. Yeah, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay. Right, so let's instead... So does this mean I now know that I can prove this box is a 10 box? It looks like it wants to be, doesn't it? So why can't this box be an 11 box? That would require us to put a 2 in one of these cells. That doesn't look problematic. A 4 in one of these cells, it would have to be there. Why can't that be a 4? The 1 would be in a useful place, actually, for this to be an 11 box. Oh, in fact, look as well. The 8 is over here in one of... Oh, this is interesting. So the 8 is over here in one of those cells by Sudoku. Right. Now, because we know that this is a 10 box or an 11 box, it doesn't matter whether the 8 is here or here. It's joining itself in it's attaching itself by way of dominoage to this cell, because you can't pair up 8 with 7 or 8 with 9 with any good outcome. So this cell is either joining the 8 in a 10 domino and making itself a 2, or it's joining it in an 11 domino and making itself a 3. I would love to be able to rule out one of those. But I don't know how to do that. Bother. Right, okay, well this is... I've suddenly hit the rails here. Let's try this box. Right, I've got an awful lot going on in this column now. I've got 4, 5, 6 and 9. 4, 5, 6 and 9. I can get rid of 9 from that one. And in these cells we've also got quite a lot of eliminations. We can do 2, 3, 4 and 6. And we know from our colouring that this is either a 9 box or it's a 10 box. So, which is it? Answers on a postcard, please. I don't know. Oh, no, right, it doesn't work. Okay, it's not a 10 box, that I can tell you. Because if it's a 10 box, where are we going to join the 1? The 1 has to join to a 9, which has to be there. And the 8 has to join to a 2, which has to be there. And this little cell now has to be the odd cell in the box, which is a 5, if we're making the other dominoes sum to 10. And that doesn't seem to have the ability to be 5. Okay, so this is the first box we have discovered. Oh, I'm quite relieved, actually. Because this box does not have dominoes that add to 10. So that it wasn't necessary for us to always do that. Now look, we've got a 1/8 thing here. So the spare digit is the 9, isn't it? Oh, this is beautiful. It's really beautiful once you start to get any traction. Because now I can't put the 9 in the middle of a side for the tiling problem reason. So the 9's got to go there. Which means that now we have to tile that, that, and that. And that's going to give us a 2-digit here. Which doesn't do anything, but never mind. It gives us, those two have to add up to 9, so they mustn't have a 4 in them. So that 3, 6 sorts out the 6 and the 4 at the top, which fixes the 4 and the 6 at the side, which makes, and we'll get left with a 4, 5 pair here and a 3, 6 pair here. And a 9, look, in one of 2 places in the middle box. I'm going to think about this box next, though, because at least I've got some digits in that one. Can we do any better than that? We got ourselves a 2. That doesn't seem to be very helpful. We got ourselves... Did we get anything? We literally just got the 9 and the 2, didn't we? And we got these peripheral digits as well. Wow, okay, sorry. Okay, well this looks like it could be a 10 cage as well, unsurprisingly. Is it in it? I can rule out 11 from this one very easily. This is a 9. So the 2, if this was an 11 summing thing, would have to go in, the 9 and 2 would have to be connected in. We'd have to have a 9 in one of those cells. So this one is either orange or blue again. So can we get rid of one of those easily? Ooh. Well, if it's a 9, the 2 would have to go with a 7 exactly there. The 8 would have to go with a 1 exactly there. The 9 would have to go here. The 6 would have to go with a 3 here, and this would be a 4-5 pair, and that looks like it might work. That's really weird. Okay, let's try and get rid of... Okay, let's try and get rid of 10 then. If that's 10, that would have to be 6-4 there. Which means this is a domino. That has to be 1-9. Oh, it can't be 1-9. So this one doesn't work with 10, I don't think. I'm just wondering if there's a simple way to see that. Maybe if I do a bit more pencil marking, I can... Yeah, okay, you can do it by thinking about... If I pencil mark 1s in this box, you can see they're in one of these two positions. But this little 9 here prevents this from ever being a 9, so you could never attach the 1 to a 9. It's really simple. As soon as you see it, it's simple. It's like many of the lovely deductions. You know, they're not absolutely monstrously difficult. You've just got to think about them in the right way. So now this box is also a blue box. And it being a blue box, we can probably fill a lot of it in. Yeah, the 1 has to go here next to the 8. We can tile that. The 2 needs to go next to a 7, which is going downwards, which is isolating this cell, which must therefore be the 9. Which means that's not a 9, and that seems to have to be a 9 by Sudoku. And this has got to be a 7 by maths. So this must be a 3 by maths, and this must be a 4-5 pair, again all by maths. And this 3 seems to be plonking a 3 up here, which is going to tile, well, at least start to tile this box down here. We need to put 2 and 5 into these squares. Oh, I see, so the 9 gets pushed up there, where it has to join up with the 1. And these two, whoopsie, I keep messing up my modes. So these two squares are now 2 and 5. And whichever one the 2 is will tile up with the 8. Now, I appreciate there's probably a million ways of doing this quickly, but I can't see how to do it. Right, what are those squares then? Let's try and maybe make some progress in the middle box. It's the only box we've not understood, well, apart from that one, I suppose. We've got 2, 3 and 7 into these positions. So, oh, the 7 here is doing something. 7 and 3 go in. So that can't be 7. So in the middle box, this is 7 for sure. But we don't know what it partners up with yet. Oh, 2 here gives me a 3 here and a 2 here. So that's not a 3. So at the moment, well, the moment we know it can't be an 11 sum, because the 2 and the 9 can't be together. It could be a 9 sum and it could be a 10 sum. So this one is either orange or blue. Right. Now, is there a way for us to think about this to get to a decent answer? We've got to put 1s, 4s and 5s into these cells. So to make a 9... So, oh, no, it's the same thing again. It's exactly the same thing again. I keep overlooking it, but it's really cool. Once you have the thought in the right order, that's a 9 in the middle of a side. So if this is the if this is summing to 9 dominoes, the 9 is spare, it's here, and we have to tile it in an incorrect way. So this is a 10 box, and it's orange therefore, and the 7 and the 3 are connected, which means the 2 and the 8 must be connected, so that becomes an 8. That's not an 8 anymore, so that's an 8. I don't know if that tells us what this digit is. It probably still doesn't. We've got to put the 6, and the 6 has to attach to a 4, doesn't it? So if this was 6, no, that could still be 6, I think. 2 has to be in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. Right. Oh. Okay. Well, this one doesn't have the option of being 9. Oh, I can see why. I can see everything about this box now. It's not 9 because 1 and 8 can't be paired. And now it's not 11 because 9 and 2 can't be paired. So this one is an orange box again. So, okay, so I haven't got any 11 boxes. I've just got 9 boxes and loads of 10 boxes. So the 9 and the 1 pair up, which means the 8 and the 2 pair up. I don't know if that's doing anything, but I'm going to fill it in. So that's not 2. The 3 and the 7 must pair up, which I can do, actually. That's got to be the 3. So that pairs up. That gives me, look, a 3 and a 6 in this row, which means these squares are now 4, 5, and 6. That's not 6. That's we don't know. That's we don't know. Okay, and I've got to make, what do I have to make? I've got to make a 4, 6 pair. So this must be a 4 or a 6, because otherwise the 5 is sort of playing gooseberry and it's sitting in between the 4 and the 6 that want to have a cuddle. So this is 4 or 6. Okay, this is 4, 5, or 6 by the power of Sudoku. That's 4, 5, 6 by the power of Sudoku. So actually in this row now, a good question would be, where does 1 go? And it seems to have to go there. If that's 4, 5, and 6, that's 2, and that's 5. That's an... Okay, this is a 10 box, so that's the spare one, and that's a domino. So have we identified all of our single digits? That's a 9 there, that's a 9 there. I think every box apart from the central box. Oh, I can do the central box now. This cell's become isolated, so that must be the 5, and that's going to do that and that and that. And that, and that, and therefore that's that, that's that, that's that, that's that, and the whole thing has just tumbled apart, except I haven't done the tiling in this box. 5, 4, 6, 3. That's just a beautiful puzzle. Oh, and I've not put the 5 on its own there. I love that, Ard. I mean, I love your puzzles, as you know, generally, but that's really original and very elegant. And I tell you what I really liked about this. My favourite bit about this whole puzzle was this box and suddenly realising that I couldn't tile it correctly if I had the spare number in the centre of a side in any of those positions. Because that really, I don't know if it really helped, but it seemed to help. And it just is such a surprising deduction to me, at least. I never thought about how you tile a 3x3 box with dominoes. And the fact you can't do it if you take one of these cells as the 9th cell is really just beautiful. Beautiful. How did you get on with it? Let me know in the comments. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.